You are listening to Nerd Best Friends, a podcast that covers the nerdy conversations you're already having, or wish you could. It's the nerdiest thing you'll do this week.
This is Analese.
This is Rob.
And I'm Dr. Intern Joan.
And we are your nerd best friends.
This episode, we're catching up on what nerdy things we're doing.
This is your Nerd Best Friends official call to action. Grab your devices, hit that subscribe button, give us a rating, and share this episode with your fellow geeks. Let's grow this nerd community together. Every click helps us reach more of you out there, so what are you waiting for? Join the nerd movement. This is episode 69.
Nice.
Title of the episode, What Are You Doing? Sorry, that's really funny. All right.
We are children. It really is episode 69, Annalise. There's nothing you can do about it.
Nope. It is episode 69. What are you doing? We're doing episode 69 is what we're doing. And talking about our nerdy stuff. And Joan is dying. Joan is dying in the background. I love it.
And it wouldn't be an episode 69 if Dr. Intern Joan weren't here joining us.
That's exactly what I was thinking.
Because you need 3 people in episode 69.
Oh, wait a second.
It's divisible by 3. It's one of those magic numbers.
Now we're talking about math.
Math is crazy.
Yes. I thought that's what we were talking about the whole time.
Next, we're going to read a story called The Puppy Who Lost His Way.
Nice.
What's going on right now?
What's going on? Some nerd mail.
Nerd mail.
Okay, I have some great nerd mail for you all, and this was sent to us by listener Los805. We were talking about 1995 being the launch of the Sony PlayStation in our episode The 30s, a couple episodes ago, right?
100%.
We were talking about Sony entering the world and Nintendo, and then the Dreamcast came along, and eventually Xbox, and why did all this happen? It happened because the first incarnation of the PlayStation was actually called the Nintendo PlayStation. So Sony and Nintendo were working together. And then Nintendo goes like, you know what? We don't want to do this. We think this console's dumb. We're going to go our own way with the Nintendo 64. And then, boom. Sony said, okay, we'll release the PlayStation on our own. So the PlayStation would have never, ever even existed if Nintendo hadn't been dumb about its model, the Nintendo PlayStation.
So this is like a Sony thing. They're like, hey, we got this Marvel universe over here, so we're going to need that Spider-Man back. And they're like, no, we'll do Spider-Man on our own. It'll be great.
But Nintendo didn't want to make that switch to that prototype or model. So Sony was like, all right, we'll just make our own. And they went out their own way and made the first PlayStation. Or Nintendo went through and made their Nintendo 64 with that top-loading cartridge. They didn't agree to how the console itself was going to work. But imagine that power if they had been able to agree on that. All of that Marvel stuff would have fell under the Nintendo umbrella.
The PlayStation first one had top-loading cartridges?
No. They didn't agree on the console itself. So I'll put this up on our social media.
Always had the discs, right?
Yes. So that is the prototype that I'm showing up on the screen right now of the Nintendo PlayStation. So they didn't agree on the console. Nintendo said, we're going our own way and making the console the way we want it. And Sony said, fine, we'll make our own console.
Got it. And they went with the discs while
they went with the discs.
Nintendo was like, no, we got to have big chunky plastic things. Yep. Children use these. You can't have an easily scratchable, delicate thing.
Yeah. Discs aren't the future.
I feel like,
So
I kind of remember that.
That is some great nerd mail, and that's actually something I didn't know. I didn't know the prototype was called the Nintendo PlayStation. How different our world would be right now if that didn't happen. Although I imagine as the consoles got bigger and bigger and bigger, Sony probably would eventually would have went its own way and figured it out anyways. But I thought that was really cool. How about you, Rob? You got any nerd mail?
Yeah, just a quick one. A shout out to new patron Ishmael. Thanks for the follow. Thanks for the like.
Yeah, thank you for joining our nerd community. It's awesome. And welcome. Hope you're catching up on those bonus episodes because they're pretty funny. And now, talking about nerd mail, it's the part everyone, including listener Maria, is waiting for. It's Talk Nerdy to Me.
This time on Talk Nerdy to Me, we've got Dr. Intern Joan here. If you know Dr. Intern Joan's book reading voraciousness, then you probably follow her on social media, where she is usually, what's Joan reading? What is Joan reading?
What.is.Joan.reading.
Boom! So that's what we're talking about today. Joan, what you reading?
Well, what I am reading, first, my nonfiction pick is Super Communicators. They interviewed many people and talked to them about how best to connect with people, getting people to change their minds, bonding with people, just good ways to communicate. I like a good nonfiction every once in a while.
Like different kinds of people, or like any people?
Any people. They zeroed in on people who have good communicating skills. So it could have been people from...
Are you trying to start a cult?
No.
Ooh!
Oh, okay.
Do you want to?
Yes.
Okay.
What are you doing that you're so busy you can't join the religious cult with me?
We're starting the religious cult. Joan knows how to persuade and communicate with people.
Is this book written by Charles Manson?
No, but that would be good. No, that's one of my nerd obsessions, actually, is cults. But we're talking about what I'm reading.
Oh, yeah. What are you reading?
Yes, so Super Communicators, just techniques to communicate better with people, feel understood, connect with them. I am also reading a book called Agents of Change. I review books through NetGalley, which is you sign up for advanced reader copies of books, and then you can review them ahead of time. Like you request them, the publisher says, sure, you can read these books. That's
how you know you're a fancy reader.
Yeah.
Or a fast reader, because they'll send me something and I'll be like, the book comes out when? In 2 weeks? No, I can't read it in that time.
It's fair. But this one is
read
about
every book, so she has to have early releases.
No, I'm not. I tend to read 3 books at a time. So this one's about the women who transformed the CIA. It's coming out in June. Look out
That's
for
awesome.
it.
Are you giving it a good review? Can you spoil alert?
Love it so far. I think any stories that center women are going to be great, because we don't having books of like the astronomer's wife and the this person's wife. Like she could just stand on her own, and so
like Hidden
like
Figures.
having these stories. Like Hidden Figures.
Ooh, there's one I read, like the women of the atomic era, where it's about all the women who did all the math for the atomic bomb buildings.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Okay,
the women of
wait.
Los
The
Alamos.
first one was Super Communicators. The second one is what now?
Agents of Change.
Agents of Change.
Not superhero agents.
No. Women who
No, but I'm waiting for the third one, because I'm pretty sure Joan is writing a recipe of how to become a supervillain. So we've got Super Communicators, how to persuade people and start a cult.
Oh, no.
Agents of Change, how to infiltrate the CIA.
What's the third?
And then the third one?
Well, it's going to be part of our episode, so I can't break it. I am also reading, maybe this fits in, I don't know. It's called Emma of Aurora. It's a historical fiction about a town south of where I live, and it's Laura Ingalls Wilder-ish. So it's the tale of these people who travel.
She's going to take over a town as an agent of change.
A place called like Aurora.
We're making a story about this.
We're making a story. It's a small town named Aurora. It could be in Colorado. It could be in Oregon. It could be in Washington, wherever. Doesn't matter yet. It's all about this super communicator who convinces everybody in this town that they've got the right ideas and they've really got something special on here. And then they use the lessons from Agents of Change to gaslight the CIA into letting them secede from the Union and create their own Cobra-esque terrorist organization.
That's fantastic.
Great, we did it.
Are you also a writer? That would be a great plot for a book.
In today's Talk Nerdy to Me, we created the newest book series. Love it. What else are you reading, Joe? What else is going on? Tell us about books. Tell us more.
Tell us about books, Joe.
Tell us about books. I know you said listener Maria wanted to know what to read, but that's hard because I don't know what kind of things she likes to read. But I have specific authors that I love to read. So
okay, like who?
In women's fiction, I read Kristen Hanna, Jane Green, Diane Chamberlain, and Mary Kay Andrews. There's just some good, solid, comfort books. If I'm reading a bunch of hard stuff and I need a palate cleanser, I'm going to pick up one of my favorite authors to kind of shake it off so I can pick up the next, like I read The Fall of Roe recently, the Roe versus Wade stuff. So when I'm reading too heavy of things, I like to also then trade it out with something light.
Okay. And the authors you just mentioned are more of those light
I think it's pronounced Rome.
Absolutely. The Fall of Rome.
And the mansplain has entered the chat.
I could not do it.
So, and those authors you just mentioned are lighter fiction, lighter writings?
Yes, okay. Women's fiction, technically. That doesn't mean they don't cover emotional or charged topics. They flow easier for me. They give me a break from the heavier
that's like a whole subgenre. I had no idea.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. They center women characters. things women go through. And Analese, I have to thank you for getting me back into thrillers after you had me go through the Holly Gibney series in preparation for the
May,
new coming book for May. I've picked up 2 thrillers since then for a new author who's also a therapist, which I think is very interesting. So she's writing a little about the shadow side of people, and I'm getting back into thrillers. So I appreciate your support in that.
And is that on your list, or you already read them? To be read, reading, or already read?
Already read.
Okay. And how were they? Were they good?
Yeah. I like them.
And I think that's a good description of the Holly Gibney stuff, right? Because, again, when people talk about Stephen King, it's like, oh, gosh, it's scary. It's It and The Shining, and I don't read any of that stuff. But the Gibney book, starting with the Bill Hodges trilogy, is not that. It's not a whodunit, because you know from the onset whodunit, because you're following that character, but it's still suspense and thriller.
Yeah, absolutely.
And the other books that Holly Gibney's in are also suspense, although Outsider is truly scary. Outsider, I think, is scary like The Shining scary. But the others, The Institute, right? She's in The Institute. I think we should make a graphic and put it on our social media what the Holly Gibney line is, because I keep forgetting.
We should. Is she in The Institute?
I think I'm mixing it up with something else. It's not The Institute. It's The Outsiders. I know there's If It Bleeds. She's got one of the vignettes in If It Bleeds. And then the book Holly. And I feel like there's one missing, but I forget all the time. Yeah. But The Institute was really good if you didn't read the Institute.
I like it. That's why I like when authors, too, have like a common strain throughout each book that you can kind of pick from. Yeah. I don't have an example of that right now, but
he did some crime-based stuff. Colorado Kid, and I'm going to forget the second one. One is called Joyland, one is called The Colorado Kid, and one of them is called Later. They've got the old, like, pulp covers on them, right? And those are like crime whodunit stories, which is really good. He's done a lot of stuff. And I could talk. This is not the Stephen King episode. This is Joan's book session.
Well, I think we did a good job. I think we covered favorite authors, me getting back into thrillers. Maybe there's a special Patreon level in the future of what can Joan tell me to read if you join a certain level of Patreon. Who knows?
Book
That's
nerds
a brilliant
unite.
idea.
Let's push that Patreon.
All right, well...
whatever it takes. We got bills to pay here.
Yes, and send in your deep thoughts, nerd questions, or talk nerdy to me subjects you'd like us to cover by sliding into our DMs, or send those topics in an email to podcast@nerdbestfriends.com. And now, episode 69, What Are You Doing? Let's do it. Nerd Thing 1.
Thing 1. So
we made a special chart for this one. Before you get started, Rob, I just want to explain to our listeners, we made a special chart for this one because I think when we've done this episode before, we've had like, what comic book are you reading? What TV show? And like those episodes end up being almost 2 hours long or 3 hours unedited. So this time we're limiting it 3 things each. What nerd thing are you doing? Let's talk about it. Rob, you were starting. I interrupted you, so go ahead. What's your thing?
Oh, no, I was just going to jump right into it and say, it's like that check-in time. We're about a third of the way into the year, and we're just catching up on, not like a specific topic like we do most of our episodes, but like, what are we nerding out about, right? This is the nerdy conversations you'd already be having anyway. Annalise, what nerdy stuff are you up to?
I don't mind starting this one. I will say callback. It was genius of Andrew last episode to roll the D4 on who started Nerdy's thing last week. I thought that was
you want me to grab a die?
He's going for it.
All right. I've decided as well, while Rob is getting his dice, I've decided I want to buy a dice set that has that funky shaped D4, not the triangle, but that like oblong, more 4-sided D4. You know what I'm talking about? I want some of those.
I do. I got a couple of those.
Yeah, I like them.
I just rolled the die. Oh, but we didn't decide who's who. 1, 2, 3 across the top?
Sure. That works.
It's you.
Oh, look at that.
After all that,
I'm number one. That, folks, was the sound of Rob's 4-sided dice hitting his microphone. Thing 1 for me. Every year my nerd goal list is to watch 25 new things. I've slimmed that into not saying like it has to be 25 new seasons because, that's not sustainable, but 25 new things of anything, whether it's like a murder show with my partner, which we just recently watched one. What was it? Oh, the one with that one girl and the guy. I forget the name of it, but it's on Netflix.
The Pizza Place?
No. That's 3 guys and a girl in a pizza place. That was a comedy show, not a documentary. We just watched another murder documentary because Netflix is sending them out like popcorn.
Okay.
But that's not my nerd thing. The nerd thing is I started watching Suits to help my 25 for 25, watching 25 new things. And I think I've already hit 25 by watching more than 25 episodes of this. But the nerd wannabe lawyer in me has been intrigued with clips of the show enough to watch it, and now I am watching it. I think I'm on season 3. And it's very interesting.
I've got some coworkers who watch Suits, and they love it, and they, like, go around the room, and they're like, oh, you're the Anthony, and you're the somebody, and you're the... And I'm like, I don't know what you're talking about.
I would say
and
it's
then people
like
get really offended, and I'm like...
Ooh, yeah. I would say it's like your 5-man band, but it's really not. And also, I know it's dramatized. I know this is not what law is like, because not everybody's like freaking gorgeous and beautiful, and they all talk at this high level legal stuff, and yeah, there's always drama and a problem, and I just don't think law is really like that. But it is interesting to watch the inner dynamics and politics of a firm. I'm enjoying it. It does get a little much. It's so dramatic that sometimes I'm like, I kind of need to just stop watching for a little bit, and then I'll go back to it a couple days later. But I'm enjoying what I'm watching. I'm watching Suits.
As opposed to Scandal that I'm watching, where I'm pretty sure that's exactly how the government is. No doubt about it.
Oh, see, that might be next on my list. That might be next.
Maybe.
I will say the thing that's most annoying about watching Suits is it is probably the worst theme song for a television show ever in the history of the universe. It is awful. And I'm sorry to whomever wrote it. It makes no sense to the show. It's annoying. The words are really weird, and I get the idea behind it. I think it's called, or it should be called, the Greenback Boogie, because it's all about making money. But the words, it's just ridiculous. It sounds like what AI would sound like if you told it to write a theme song for Suits. It's so bad, I skip it every single time.
Oh, I can't play it on my thing because I think Riverside is saying, hey, your audio can only be here. But, all right.
It's not good. Save yourself. Don't do it. Other
I'll
than
just
the
have to
theme song.
imagine how it is. I imagine it goes, greenbacks, woo, da-na-na-na, we like to wear suits.
I'm pretty sure
would
that's
be
exactly how it works. Yeah.
That would be actually better than the theme song.
Oh gosh, good thing there's a skip function.
Wherever you're
Thank
watching
goodness.
it,
Definitely.
Yes, but Suits. That's what I'm doing. Rob, roll your die. Who's going next? Is it going to be you or Joan?
I don't know what number I am.
It's you.
You're number 3. You're number 3.
It's me. Anyways, I'm number 3. Episode 64 was Busted Makes Me Feel Good. I finally got Ghostbusters 101, the multiverse comic from the library. And
my gosh.
And I am reading it. I am finding it quite enjoyable, and to imagine these personalities existing in a multiverse is just very fun.
Because when you see them, like, they're kind of on model with the actors, right?
Absolutely. They absolutely are. And the snarky ones interacting with the 4 female Ghostbusters, like the personalities cross over the 4 in each world.
So it's got the movie Ghostbusters, which are like the regular comic book Ghostbusters, I think, are modeled off there.
They're like
but then they also have
and
yeah. So then they also have the cartoon Ghostbusters with the guy with the yellow pompadour hairdo. Is he in there?
He is in there he's the kind of dumb blonde version of Janine, the secretary.
Oh, well, so then that would be, like the Chris Hemsworth character?
I haven't seen that one yet, so you can't say that. I also have catching up to do in the movies.
Okay. Is it 2 Ghostbusters teams, or is it like 6 Ghostbusters teams?
2 Ghostbusters teams.
Oh, okay.
And the original Ghostbusters started a school to train new Ghostbusters.
Aha.
And so in trying out the equipment, they realized that defeating Gozer led to this multiverse.
Ripped a hole in the fabric of reality and opened up a gateway to the multiverse.
Right. Exactly.
I'm down. Okay, we'll keep going.
Then that's it. I'm enjoying it. I'm about...
Okay.
That's what she's doing.
That's what I'm doing. That's the comic book I'm reading, which I didn't want to bring up in the nerd mail section, or the what am I reading section.
Oh, yeah, because you're reading it now. Okay, I got you.
Because it's a callback to the episode, yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Nice. All right, Rob, you don't even have to roll the dice unless you want to try, but 2.
I got you again. No, I'm kidding.
Okay.
I was looking at, because whenever I'm thinking about like these kind of catch-up episodes, I was thinking, it's first quarter, let's take a look at my nerd goals, make sure that I'm still on track with one of those. So one of the nerd goals that I shared was my gaming goals, which really have to do with just trying to stay on my regular schedule with D&D. We're working towards finally playing our first 6th edition game after talking about Dungeons & Dragons last time. We're getting closer and closer to that. And things are rolling okay. There's always this break in the holidays around November, December. whatever. And then things started like picking up what did they pick up? Steam. And we're like rolling right along every week, twice a week, boom, boom, boom. And then for whatever reason, we got to March and we haven't played in a long time. So
well, that happens always with Andrew's shows too, right?
It's
March and April
musical
when
theater
spring musical
season.
Yeah.
So that's what happens there, because he's in two and they all happen at the same time. And of course, we remember that years ago, my nerd goals were play more games with my son. So every game that I play, he's in, and ipso facto, if he's busy, we're not playing. So that's going along okay. I've got a lot of fun things planned for those plot hooks and for both of those adventures going through, both our Tomb of Annihilation campaign and our Icewind Dale campaign. I really want to get back to it because there's just crazy spooky stuff happening in both of them. But the other thing with that, though, to go back to nerd goals, was when we did our nerd goals show, I remember lamenting the fact that I had started 2 or 3 nerd books in Audible and just given up on them completely. Well, I finally went back and I finished them because it was on my nerd goal list to read some fantasy and some sci-fi stories and those kinds of things. And I also put it on that bingo card that we made. And one of those is like, finish a book about lore or something. So I was like, okay, cool. So I went back through there. One of those trilogies it's a Dungeons and Dragons one from like way back in the 80s. One of the first trilogies that turned into a, what do you call it when there's 4 books?
Quadrology? No, I have no idea.
I was looking at you, Joan, if anybody was going to know. Did you just call it a series after a trilogy?
Maybe.
Foragy?
All right. It was a trilogy, and then it turned into a longer series. And this was a book that, one of the first ones that I remember. And I remember being bored in a dusty old, like, secondhand bookstore while my mom and my aunt were, like, walking around doing stuff. And I'm like, oh my God. And I found this section, and it had the Dungeons and Dragons, like, Forgotten Realms logos and the Dragonlance logos, like, on the shelf. And I'm like, oh my gosh, finally something for me. And so I grabbed those books, and I remember reading them and thinking they were really cool. There was this dude, and he turned into he was like a were-panther, which is like a werewolf, but it's a panther, which obviously is cooler. And then he had like a magic sword, and then eventually he like became a god, and he had a girlfriend, and she also became a god. She was the god of magic, and she fought a god on like on the stairway and threw him over her shoulder, and he crashed into the world and caused an earthquake, and like there was all this cool stuff in there. And there was the dude, like the thief, and he was a real jerk, but he was kind of cool. I just remember this book really, really cool. So I went to go re-listen to this book because one of the D&D games I'm in, a character is like a paladin or a cleric to Kelemvor. And Kelemvor was the god of the underworld. And that was the story of the dude who turned into the werepanther and the thing, and he went through his adventure, and at the end his name was Kelemvor, and he became the lord of the world of the dead. And I'm like, oh, I remember those books. We should read those books. Let's grab them on Audible and read those books again. They're so boring. They're so bad. And it's rough. And I'm almost done. I did finish the third one, which was one of the ones that I had abandoned at the end of 2024. So I did finish that one, and I started the fourth one. Part of it is nothing much is happening in these books, and the other thing is the narrator is just rough. Real bad.
The narrator can make or break an audiobook for sure.
And you find that when you reread a book from childhood and it's just not as good as you remember it because you've had more experience in life. There's more technology. There's more activation in your brain for other things. And so that's happened to me.
Yeah.
That's disappointing.
It was a little disappointing. I'm gonna stick it out and I'm gonna finish it because honestly, I'm halfway through book 4 and this dude still hasn't become the god of the underworld. And I'm honestly wondering if I even remember this correctly. He's just gonna die or something.
Or it happens right at the end of the books.
Right. And I thought it was about that. And really, it's just something that's going to happen on the last page.
At the end of the tetralogy, by the way, a set of 4 books. Tetralogy.
Okay.
I like series.
I do too. There's a list of Latin-rooted words for each series, depending on. Yeah.
Well, think about it. You think quad, but tet must have something to do with squares because of like Tetris.
Good pull.
All right.
All right. So that's thing 1.
Thing number 2. Are we rolling again? Are we keeping the same order? What do you want to do?
Let's roll again. I think that's fun. Nerd thing 2.
It's Joan.
All right. Joan gets to go first.
All right. I actually am excited about this. So when Analese introduced me on the podcast, I think she had mentioned that I'm a crocheter, and I recently had sent Rob a sample of the Stormtrooper granny square blanket that I made.
Yes.
Very cool.
I crochet a lot, but I've never made myself anything. So recently I have finished my own blanket, and you might know If you think about any 70s or 80s household you were in, there's a zigzag blanket with like brown, yellow, orange.
100%.
That is my pattern, but I update it in modern colors. I've done one for my friend that's white, gray, and yellow. Mine now, the one that I just finished, is purple, gray, and dark purple. Like just a mixture of the colors that are kind of updated and modern. But here's the nerdy thing. I had yarn left over, so I'm going to make a matching one for my cat. Don't laugh.
Yes. That's amazing.
She loves blanket, and now we can match together.
Wow.
Perfect.
Okay. Gotta get those pictures.
It is
very
nerdy.
cozy.
It's very nerdy and cozy. And the upcoming project in this will be, my husband turns 40 in July, and he's requested a blanket. So I thought for sure, he's a big Portland Timbers soccer fan. He's a big Oregon Ducks fan. Boo. I thought for sure he'd be... Hiss, boo. I thought for sure he'd pick out some greens or something. He picked out
Cardinal gold.
Neon. I am making him a black, neon green, neon pink, and neon purple blanket, because that is what
Let's go.
He lets go. He wants to be cozy out loud.
Like a Monster Energy drink can, but a blanket.
Exactly. That is absolutely it. So
that's because now he's got the Oregon Ducks have messed with his color palette understanding with all of their disgusting uniforms and costumes. Now all he can see is neon because of their puke green glow in the dark nonsense.
Chrome colored madness.
Yeah.
Exactly. And I like that you call them costumes. It makes him mad when I call them costumes. So
that's continue. What else are they?
They're just costumes.
Yeah, so wild.
Yeah. Anyway,
you know what? I forget he's so much younger than us. And I think now I remember at your wedding there was all the jokes about you being
Joan,
a cougar.
Robbing the cradle.
And I forgot all about that. He's just turning 40 and we're almost 50.
Why are we talking about this? Where millions of people are going to hear it.
You didn't have to put a number
said
on
it was his 40th
said it was his
birthday.
birthday.
Yeah,
you very specifically said his 40th birthday. Look how much younger this hot piece of meat is than me. That's what you were going for the whole time.
That's a humble brag. Humble brag in the world.
She didn't have to say a number. That was on you. I don't know if you're looking for any ideas, but my mom did a cool thing with a blanket that she made a few years ago where she got the yarn of different colors specifically to line up with the color code on a map depending on the temperature. So when you look at a temperature map and it kind of goes from like an auburn brown to like a yellow to a blue to a white kind of thing. And then depending on the temperature of the day, she would do a daily couple stripes whatever on the blanket so that the end of 365 days, not only is it a full-size blanket, but it also recorded the temperature of the year.
That's interesting.
Believe it or not, Rob's mom and Joan are on the same page because I want to do that for my 50th birthday year.
Perfect.
That very same idea.
The year before you turn aged 50 or starting from the day?
I don't know yet. We have a few years to figure it out. The other thought I had was I saw someone who made a snake stuffy with all the books they've read. So they put in a few colors of the cover and they made this giant snake stuff, and they stuffed it with stuffed animal stuff. And then they had this...
So then, if you put it in front of the bookshelf, it all kind of lines up? Is that the idea?
That's kind of cool.
Tons of stuff.
Your snake would be like 10 feet long just for the month of February.
I know.
That's a pretty awesome idea. I like both of those ideas.
I do too.
You're going to have to share with us when you land on one. I want to see
it.
When it's done.
For sure.
Yes. All right, who's going next, Nerd Thing 2, Rob?
Right. It's you or me. It is you.
Okay, I'm number one again. Series, I've said this nearly every episode this entire season, but Series 3 of Final Girl, I have it. It's not painted yet, so I haven't played any of the vignettes in the new series, but it did come with some game-altering pieces like the Tear Dice, TEAR, neoprene side mat to help you continue to organize the game, and it is so beautiful when it's all put together. I am just obsessed with Final Girl 3, well, the whole series of Final Girl, and playing lots of games, more than I have the last 2 years combined already, and I'm watching more horror films because of it too, so it's gotten me back into the mode, and anytime I have free time, I'm setting up that board, playing a game. So
we got to get you on Instagram Live doing a roll or two or a round or two or whatever they call it.
Maybe I thought about doing one recently, but man, I'm glad I didn't because I got wrecked by the vignette is called Terror from the Grave, and those zombies are real. Instead of just if a victim dies at the hands of zombies, it turns into a zombie, and so you have to stop the zombie hordes from forming, and if too many form, you automatically lose because the town is infected. And it's tough. It kicked my butt. I'm glad that I also rolled really bad even with the tier dice. So it's such a cool game. And I realized I like the genre of it, of course, but what I really like about it is the storytelling that I do as I progress through a game. The choices that I make as the final girl are based off of really trying to survive this scenario. So it's just a lot of fun. So I am making progress on my gaming goals way more than the last couple of years combined, and playing a lot of Final Girl and watching more horror movies. Are
you still using the board game app? Are you logging your stuff?
I am. I'm on top of it this year. Even if it's that one thing, I have my one thing, and that's kind of what I'm going to talk about next for goal 3. But the one thing I do every day, some days it's like, you know what? I forgot to log my games last week. I'm going to go through and look at the calendar and log my games. So I'm not doing it day of, but I've turned it into one of the things I do each week. And I will say I am totally taking advantage of Hoopla now that I have it all set up. I watched Creepshow 2 I rented it from the library on Hoopla and watched it. Man, I hadn't seen that since I was like 13. It's not great. It's a horrible, but it's one of those good, horrible 80s movies that's just ridiculous and cheesy, and it's so good. So Final Girl has brought it all back out, and I'm looking for what's the next thing? Ooh, Children of the Corn is available for rent. Not even rent. What do you call it? Borrow it from the library. So I'm all into the horror genre thanks to Final Girl.
Well, hang on.
Okay, all right.
So I'm always going to make the episode longer and more difficult for you to edit when I get the chance. Did we have the conversation about playing solo games on the pod, or did we only have that over our text group?
What do you mean?
When you play Final Girl, you're playing solo, right?
Correct.
And so when I play solo games, I was saying I talk everything out loud. I read the rules out loud. I announce what I'm doing out loud. Somehow.
That was on the chat.
It was just on the chat, right? We didn't talk about it again.
Yeah.
Okay. So that was going to be the question that I was going to ask was when you're playing your solo game and you're in the nerd room going through it, you got to be chatting it up, right?
I'm going to answer this question by telling you a story. So on Facebook, thank you, Joan. In Facebook, there is the Final Girl community group, which is really great. And the creators of Final Girl are in there and they answer questions all the time. But there was someone who posted am I the only one who talks out loud when playing this game? And everyone was like, no, if you're not talking out loud, what are you even doing? And my response was, if you're not only talking out loud and narrating the story, announcing your moves, having voices for each of the characters while you have your LED mood lighting and an instrumental horror movie soundtrack playing in the background, are you even playing Final Girl? So yes, absolutely. How could you not? This is the only solo game that I play. So that's not true, because I do talk to myself for Return to Dark Tower as well, right? I do talk I got to do this, and it's to help me talk through the series of actions and movement. But for Final Girl, that's part of that narration. It feels like I'm writing a story every single time I play it, and even with the same characters and the same vignettes, it's just so much fun. So yeah, I totally talk to myself. Oh no, Lori wouldn't do that. That doesn't make sense. She wouldn't run into that room. We're going to run into this room because she knows there's got to be something in there that she can use to kill this guy. So
and the dog walks by the door and checks on you and you okay in there?
Tilly often usually sits under the table while I'm playing and just chills.
That would actually help. I feel like if the pet is there, it's kind of I'm keeping the pet company by talking while I'm doing this. But I don't play games in the nerd room anymore. It used to be a room with a big table in it, but now it's more of the hobby benches and a ton of storage and stuff. So I set up my games on the kitchen table.
Oh, sure.
But I'll be doing the same thing. And most times on the weekend and whatever, we're doing our thing. Maria's in and out of the garden, or she's in the kitchen doing sourdough stuff, and Andrew's cruising around, and I'm on the in the kitchen table, and I'm doing my games and stuff, and I start talking, and then Maria gets all annoyed. She'll take out her earbud or whatever and be
what? Are you talking to me?
Are you talking to me? No, I'm not talking to you. Sorry. And then I feel all self-conscious, and I'm quiet about it for a little while, and then I'll start again, and are you talking to me? No.
I'll say, yes, I'm talking to you because I just rolled really bad and you need to know about it. No,
that's right. These stupid zombies are going to get me again. What am I doing?
I talk to myself even when I'm just doing work. So I think Sarah's used to it on my end. I talk to myself all the time, but definitely
that is something I really miss about having a hybrid schedule where I could work from home, because there is no better way to clear emails than to yell at them as you're going through. Now mixed office, open office environment, that's just not going to cut it.
Well, you have an office, right? Or did you move it all around? You can close your door.
I could, but it's paper thin. The things I'm saying, it's not If I'm sitting
Fair.
here
Okay.
like,
All right. Okay. Fair.
You know.
Fair. I have a
You can imagine.
buffer in my office, right? Because my secretary's, I'm not secretary, my assistant's office is next to mine, and that's the door people have to enter. So when I close my door, it's like a double, triple wall between me and people. So
No, when I go to meetings, people from the and close my door, people from the office will actually like come over and stand on the other side of the wall and put their head up because they can hear everything.
what are you doing? What are you doing, Rob? What are you doing?
Exactly.
I mean,
Good
listeners, write in and tell us you want a bonus episode of Rob talking to his emails because it'd be great, and how he gets rid of them. I'd love
We
it.
could just do that on
Oh.
Riverside. Like, you just open Riverside, bro, and just open your emails and just go to town.
Stream it. I'd have to be thinking about how to change the names though, because that'd be rough.
yeah.
I'm
Definitely.
not
We
saying
are-
nice things about these.
We
emails,
are in
yeah.
education, and confidentiality is a thing. You know that, Joan. But yes, that could be a whole... We got to find someone to animate it, and it'll be like, what was that? Dr. Katz.
Oh my gosh, that'd be great.
Oh my gosh, that would be a dream come true if my ridiculousness became a Dr. Cat squiggly episode.
It's like those ones, there's some that pop up on TikTok now from police cams, from their body cams. It's just the audio, and then someone's animated it. So, you know, especially like when they pull over someone, it's not funny that they're intoxicated, but they're talking to someone who's clearly intoxicated, and they're animating it based on the nonsense that they're saying. It's really good. I don't know what the name of the account is, but it pops up when I'm scrolling sometimes, and it makes me laugh very much. It reminds me of Dr. Katz. Who's next? Wait,
don't
this is
remember
thing
what we were
two.
talking
I
about.
went.
I think it's me.
Rob's last.
Oh, that's right. Joan already did crocheting. Yes, I forgot. All right, Rob, nerd thing 2.
So on my Trello board, one of my 5 categories for 25 for 25 was my hobby goals. And one of those goals, knowing that like I'm not going to hit 365 minis this year or whatever, but it was to make sure that I paint every week, at least at some point. And I'm pretty good at this anyway, because of trying to like stay on top of things. I'm always like, I could give it 15 minutes, right? I can paint a couple boots, call it a day, because the stuff is set up, right? One of the things that I've been doing was the miniature of the month. So we have a Games Workshop store. It is about 40 minutes away. It's under less than an hour away. So I don't go there all the time, but I'm like, once a month I could cruise out there, I could restock my paint and pick up the mini of the month. The mini of the month is like a free mini they give you when you spend X amount of dollars or just for coming in. I don't know what the rules are.
You just figured that out a handful of months ago, right? Because you weren't
back
going
in
once a
November,
month.
yeah. If I'm looking at my shelf, I've got 1, 2, 3, 4. So yeah, like back in November,
Yeah.
I figured that out. And I'm like, oh, cool. Like this will be a fun thing to do. Like take a little trip. Back in February, I was like, ooh, it's getting close. Like, I'm looking at the calendar, and I'm thinking, like, oh, well, I can't go that weekend, and I'm not going to be able to go that weekend, so I'm definitely, like, this is the one weekend I can go. I'm going to go get my my mini of the month. And so I had told Maria, I'm like, oh, I'm going to head down to Ventura and grab my mini of the month. You want to come? We could go to lunch or do something, whatever. And she's like, oh my gosh, yeah, that sounds great. And it was a beautiful day, and we drove down the coast and looked at the waves, and we found a great place for lunch. And it was, you know, like food truck and burgers and a brewery and like outdoors picnic style. There were dogs and kids and just wonderful. And she's like, oh, I've got some returns to do. Like, I'll bring those too. And so we went to the store and she did some returns. We kind of walked around the mall a little bit and like, oh, well, while we're in this neck of the woods, let's go see my mom and like make sure, you know, blah, blah, blah. So like, oh, okay, yeah, we went and we visited her mom and stuff. And I'm like, it's getting late. Like, I feel like we need to get going. Like, oh, yeah. Let's go. So it's like, okay, cool. Drove over to the Games Workshop store. Definitely closed. Definitely missed it.
Oh no.
That's happened to us before, too.
So one, he either closed a little early because it was dead and he had something to do. It's funny, like the way Games Workshop stores work, there's just one employee. Like,
Always.
they're franchises or whatever, but, like, they'll open a store and it's just the one person. So if that person's sick or that person's got a doctor's appointment or whatever, they just put a sign on the door that says either, like, back in 15 minutes or closed. Like, they just don't open or whatever. So I should know better to call ahead before I drive down there because it's happened to us before. But it was just, we had planned this fun day. So it was like, oh, of course, everything's going to work out perfectly. It didn't. So I actually missed the February miniature of the month.
Oh, no!
I don't even know what it was.
Bummer.
No, and
Yeah.
I love free things. I'm so sad for you.
I know. So hopefully this month will be better. But that's my hobby story of miniature of the month and what I've been doing, lamenting the fact that whatever
You
it
did
was,
not get
I'll never
February.
know.
Yeah.
I was thinking even of like making a special like 3D printed like stand in my display case with like January, February, March, so I could have the whole thing. And now why bother? It's just going to be
Well,
empty.
okay, but what if you
I could cheat.
called them and say, hey, I went like towards the end of February. I missed y'all being open. Do you have any February minis of the month left? I will come in and buy double to get February and March.
Well, I'm not going to offer the buy double right off the bat. I'm just going to tell my sob story and be like, Ryan, you weren't here.
There you go. Come on, Ryan. Do you have any extras? I'm sure they do.
So,
I'm sure they do. Call and ask.
That'll be the next time I go. It's not going to be next weekend. Maybe it'll be the weekend after that.
All right.
That's what I'm doing miniature-wise. I still don't have a 3D print project for the year.
Whoa.
I don't have that one big cool thing that I'm going to do yet. So.
Well, the last time you brought that up, you mentioned that your printer wasn't working so well. So is it getting better?
That's true. No, I haven't touched it.
That is the project, is to get it up and running first.
Your 3D print project may be getting it back to running order.
That's not fun.
Do you need some Haribo gold bears?
Yep, I need some Haribo gummies to take this thing apart and put it back together.
That's more evidence that my husband and Rob are best friends because he loves gummy bears too.
Oh, and the joke behind that is that, so Rob's got the Cadillac of 3D printers, and you have a choice. You can pay for it to come assembled, or you can pay for it to come unassembled, and it gives you the directions to assemble it together. And each step tells you how many it gives you a big bag of gummy bears, and each step tells you when you finish the step, eat 3.
That's cool.
It's really
fun.
cool.
It's even in the instruction manual is like a book, right? But as you go through, it'll tell you okay, part 2, hot end assembly. Set aside, step 1, set aside 5 gummy bears at the top of your thing. And so as you're going through, it's like, great job, you attached those wires correctly. Eat a gummy bear. You go through, it's really cute and funny the way they did it, but yeah. I don't know. Can my project be buying a new 3D printer? Probably.
I mean, do those things? Wait, but do those things? This Cadillac, this Prussia, aren't they supposed to be able to live forever?
Yes. I think I'm going to have to buy new parts. And if I'm going to spend money on buying new parts, then...
The new parts will still be cheaper than a whole new printer.
You're right, but not easier. Okay. I'll try to fix it.
It took you a long time to put that 3D printer together because you
I know.
I was one of the 5 people that
you
every single step that you went through. You should go back to what that looked like. To think it's going to be easier to put a brand new one together is not accurate compared to the amount of time. It probably took you 40 hours.
No. I think I timed it out and it took me 16 hours, but they were 16 straight hours.
Right. No, because you didn't work on it straight for 16 hours.
I did a whole 3D week. It was a 3-day weekend, and all I did was work on that. Maybe it was 20 hours. It was something around 20 hours. I was trying to come in under 20, but I didn't make it or something.
So it won't take 20 hours to fix it, and that's time of your life.
All right, I'll think about it.
That's a good
next check-in. We'll see.
That's
but
a good 3D
I think there's also no motivation, right? If I had the project look at this cool thing I want to make that's going to be for this awesome game, then I might be all right, step 1, let's fix this printer, and I'd be a little bit more motivated. Well, right now,
what am I Neverwood, Northwood, the town of Northwood from the Don't Look Back book. But it's not for you, so it's not exciting, I know.
Don't want to make neat little business card holders?
That's cool.
Wow, that's really cool.
I got that on Etsy.
Dr. Intern Joan is holding up a really cool 3D printed business card holder. It says Dr. Intern Joan on the front.
And it's got Nerd Best Friend stickers in it.
Absolutely.
Nice business cards.
Yeah.
Perfect business cards.
If I printed that on my printer, you'd put it on the desk and all the corners would be lifted up like a rocking chair and it would be, going back and forth.
Yeah, time to fix that printer, bro.
All right.
We're on Nerd 3.
Moving on.
Nerd Thing 3. Roll that die. Who goes first?
Time to roll that die. Oh, it's me. So the other thing that I had on my nerd goals were the health goals. So we had a big conversation about drinking water and hydrating and how it's all a big lie and Big Agua is just out to get me and gaslighting us all. And so then I talked about all right, forget that water goal. Now it's all about whatever death clock AI tells me. The the AI that I put my bios into and tells me that I'm only going to live to 79 in 4 months unless I change my ways. But I talked about that already, so forget those health goals. I want to talk about something else instead that I'm doing that's really cool, and that is Arcane Season 2. Do you remember me talking about Arcane? It's a Netflix show, League of Legends. All right, you guys.
It's ringing a little bit of a bell.
It's real cool. It is an animated show, and the way it does its animation, I would compare to as avant-garde and creative as Spider-Man Across the Multiverse or whatever. It mixes a 3D animation style, a along with sometimes like that kind of sketch animation style of like Star Wars, the Clone Wars, right along like just regular like good animation of like cell animation. There's computer stuff in there. It's just, and it does a really good seamless job. It's telling an incredible story about the world building is all actually based on the video game series League of Legends, which I don't know anything about. I've never played a League of Legends game. I've never seen anything League of Legends. I know that if you do esports, they're probably playing League of Legends. Like if I were to, I mean, I know what it looks like, but I'm not into it. But anyway, this is a show that takes place in that world, but the show builds the world out for you. It's great storytelling about this amazing gleaming city full of technological wonders, but how it was built upon the Undercity, which is like the old, you know, like the dirty, it's the nitty gritty underground of the city, and like the different kinds of people who live here, and there's, you know, the government, and they're very fancy and hoity-toity, and they have an army with their press suits and their gold pauldrons and things, and then underground is just like the gangsters and the mobsters and the different things that go on. And it's an amazing story. It's beautiful. It's a family story that kind of shows how it bleeds out when you try to go between the two worlds. And the music is fantastic. If you love emo girl music, oh my god, do I have a soundtrack for you. Absolutely fantastic. It's just a wonder. And so season 2 came out earlier this year, and so we were so excited that we actually rewatched season 1 to remember what happened, and then went through, and we've been watching season 2, just about done with it. I've listened to the soundtrack in my car. Like, people look at me and they're like, look at this old white dude with his
his emo girl music.
Emo girl music blasting out of his car. It's hilarious. I cannot recommend it enough. I actually think Joan and Analese, I think you would both love this show. It's so cool. It's got a little bit of high fantasy. It's got a little bit of steampunk. It's got a little bit of noir, for sure. A lot of stuff wrapped up into amazing ideas. Like, there's not a character in the show that doesn't have some, like, very unique, striking appearance part of them, whether it's their clothing, uniform, a bionic enhancement, something, an artificial arm, whatever it might be that we talk about sometimes with good science fiction and good Star Wars, where it's like, it doesn't answer the question. I don't know why that guy's neck is a robot, right? And it doesn't tell me. But I can imagine, like, what about this guy's past made it so he has a bionic neck? Or, you know, whatever it might be. Why does that guy wear a hat like that? You know, those kinds of things, like, because it's something so striking, but they don't explain it, and they don't hang lampshades on it. You just kind of see who the personality is, and it's always telling you something, whether it's symbolic or just the way it's, like, dirty or clean and things like that. Arcane is absolutely fantastic. Recommend it.
I do recall you mentioning Arcane, and you even recommended it when you were talking about season 1. I just looked, it's on my list, but I have not. I'm glad you're enjoying it.
And we roll. My turn?
Yes.
This is an embarrassing one, but I'm a pen to paper planner person. I need it handwritten and color coded, and I have a set of, you know, washi tape and stickers and special pens, and that's my nerdy area I haven't talked about yet. But inevitably, November, December last year, found my planner for 2025, loved it, filled it all out, entire year. Last week I was like, you know what? I don't like this anymore. I'm starting all over. So then I bought a brand new one.
Okay.
Now I got it. Now I got to do it up for this year and go back to the 4 previous months and fill it in. Anyway, over and over and over again, I go around every year. At least 2 to 3 planners every year.
Wow.
Thinking it's the one. Yeah, just going between different things, trying to figure out what's going to work for me, and it always changes.
And when you say, like, different planners, like, are they different styles? Do you usually get the same size, but a different organization? Like,
they are different in all. For my private practice, I have an hour-by-hour one that I started this year. We're going to see how long it lasts. But that's where I just keep track of business things. I feel like that has to be a separate business thing.
Of course.
But my planner for this year was going to be this daily journaling. It has, like, tarot card spreads and full moon prompts.
Really pretty.
It's really pretty. But then I was like, that's too much trouble. I don't want to do that crap every day. So then I just moved to a monthly, weekly, just do it normal. I don't know. It's not exactly a great habit, but inevitably, if you ever ask me what I'm doing, getting a new planner is one of them.
Can I ask a follow-up about planners and note-taking and color coding and being organized with things like that in general?
Please do.
So, I live in the realm of tabletop role-playing games. I play a lot of them. A lot of times they go on forever. The best players are the players who take notes and have organized notes so that when we're only playing once every other week and 2 weeks get skipped and now it's been 3 months since we talked to that person, they can find that person's name, they remember what the little quest they gave them for, like all that kind of stuff, and staying organized like that. Now, I play in a couple games as well, and I'm struggling to figure out how to do my notes. Do I type them? Like, I've been doing them on my iPad a lot, and so at first it was like some big long running thing, like just running notes of like what happened, but it got kind of big and I couldn't really find anything anyway. Then I started doing like 1 page of notes per session, but then how do I go back and forth because, we just started this one, but I need that thing for 2 weeks ago, so now I'm like closing and reopening and trying to do things. I could type it on like something electronic so I could, find keywords, right? Like do a search. I don't know where to start. I know that paper and pen wise, lots of companies are always trying to sell me on Instagram, like, this is your D&D note-taking, the best moleskin thing you've ever seen in your life, kind of. But I don't know, what kind of advice would you have for the Dungeons and Dragons player who needs to keep these notes and keep them organized? Maybe you do a little doodle. I don't know.
What does Analese have?
I use moleskin.
I was going to say, yeah.
I bought a pack of moleskins that are all the same size, and they're put away where my D&D stuff is put away, but I have one that has a few campaigns that we've played on it. I have the Ghost of Saltmarsh that we have stopped playing, and then I opened up like towards the back and started Tomb of Annihilation. The problem with it, because I started from the back on that one, though, I will say, is that I like went forwards and I ran out of pages. And now I have to go backwards. So it goes day 1, day 2, day 3, like and then like day 27 is a page back and I have to keep going back. Like, it's really weird, but it's helped, right? And then at the bottom, I have a separate page that has the date and the date of the next game and a couple notes to remind myself. So that's just all in a moleskin. And you have little tabbies. You could use little tabs to like separate the things. But for Icewind Dale, because you gave us, exactly, those little post-it tabbies, because you gave us player documents leading up to Icewind Dale, I actually printed those out and put those in a separate folder, and then I just have blank sheets of paper that have the date and any notes that I took. Early in the game, when we were first visiting some of the cities and you held up the symbol of that city, I sketched the symbols on a piece of paper really poorly.
Yeah, like I like to kind of doodle in mine, in the margins and stuff too.
But I just have papers in one of those paper folders, like those cheap 25-cent folders, and it just says Rima the Frostmaiden in the front. And so that sits with the gift box you gave us with the dice in it and the maps and stuff and my paladin cards. And then I have my moleskins for the other games.
Right. I think color coding is going to be your friend in this one. So Annalese's moleskin, and then you got a color for action or you got a color per character. And if you highlight, you can look back, when did that person do that thing? So you're looking for green, and then you're looking for yellow because that's the action, or I don't know what you would label
that's
it.
That's a good
one.
I'm
coding. Visual like that.
Okay.
You could use your Zazzle
Sometimes I
Brights.
wonder if I should have a different page for those things. Like, we met a new person. I should go to the NPC note and add them there, not in the running document. Or
would that make sense to you though when you are talking about which encounter or which part? Like, to me, that doesn't make sense because you met that NPC while you were in a specific land area or challenge, then having it color-coded in the middle of that challenge. So if you did the notes of the day's adventure in a regular pencil, but any characters are in green, and then any villains or monsters that you battle are in red, and that way you're keeping it in chronological order of how things happened, and that color coding as you're writing could I like that idea too, Joan. That's really intriguing.
And the bullet journal idea of having a table of contents or page number index, because you can write chronologically all you want, but then you go over to your NPC table of contents and you'd be like, I met this guy on page 5 and he's on page 5, so you could quick reference it.
Okay. The best I ever did with it was when Michael was running the beginner box for us, like the starter campaign, because it was so well organized of you go into your hometown, here's everything you need to know about the hometown. In the hometown, there's a big board where they post adventures, so it's okay, cool, and then I can post the adventures as they show up. And then every adventure we went on was a new page. Here's the fetch quest to go to the logging camp. Here's the quest to go to the dwarven castle, and keep it all set. That one I was super organized because it lent itself to that, the way it was structured to be easy for beginners to figure out. When we're doing this more sandboxy stuff, I'm not seeing it in my head, like the pattern, like that breakup or outline of it, because it's like the whole idea is it's like trying to be more organic, where it's not. I'm sure if I opened up the book, it would be very clearly labeled what we're doing. I'm not seeing it until after me, like, I should have separated that, but...
Now you want a running tally, color code, and table of contents, or index. That's where it's at.
Really interesting idea.
I'm going to take that advice, Joan, and I'm going to start highlighting the crap out of my notes starting Wednesday.
Or hire a scribe. I'm available hourly.
Well...
If you're going to be on to scribe D&D, you might as well learn how to play D&D.
You might as well play.
And scribe for yourself.
You could do the most valuable job of any D&D player, be the note taker.
Yeah, it's true. You could be a cleric or a wizard note taker, because the wizard will be knocked out first anyways.
Super simple. If you're going to take good notes, be a very simple character, because, you know what I mean? Like, if you're worried about your character, which you should be, you're not going to have time for the notes. That's what gets so many people into trouble.
It's very true. You get in the middle of battle and taking notes is the last thing on your mind.
Exactly.
Oh, good times. All right. On my 25 for 25, I talked about really organizing the year by making sure I do one thing every day after work, so that I don't continue the habit of just being so exhausted that I plop down and do nothing for a couple hours once I get home. And so that's been going really well. I use a Moleskine for that too. So I just put the date, and I do Monday through Friday. I don't count the weekends, because the weekends is when I do all my hobby and stuff anyways. And so it's been really cool. So it takes a whole page basically to do a month, Monday through Friday. I write down the days. I pre-write down the days that I'm set to do supervision, like at a sports event or a dance or whatever. I don't do it every day, so sometimes I have to look back on my calendar as well. But I definitely am enjoying getting home and gamifying and having this idea of what's the thing I'm going to do. And even when I'm at work, I'm like, okay, today, like, I'm not going to get home till pretty late. You know, I might get home 6 or 7 o'clock tonight, and that means the one thing I do needs to be something simple that I can finish and then be able to relax and decompress a little bit before going to bed. So it really has helped. It has changed my mentality of how I go through my days and how I plan through my weeks in terms of things that need to be done around the house. One of them was something as simple as putting up brackets so we can hang the curtain rods, because we've been here for 2 years and we still had the like tension curtain rods just sitting. So the long curtains, the long drapes just go across the floor all the time, and they're all bunched up inside the window because you're using that tension rod. So like one thing I did coming home one day last week was hang up those curtain rods. So it's pretty mundane stuff. It's not always nerdy stuff, but that has been really helpful. And that is something I'm doing right now, is making sure that I often do at least just one thing. And then you know what happens when I do that one thing? It's like, boom, I have energy to do another thing.
You should build momentum, right?
Yeah. So that's what's happening.
I've been trying to pass that rule off as a rule in my house, where if you leave the room, what's one thing you can take, bring back in, like how when you move from room to room. Same concept. Like, what's one thing I can do before I leave the room?
Kind of keep things neat.
I was
going to ask if it's like a thing you figure out based on need, or is it like a to-do list you have, and do you have like a fun way of like, oh yeah, cranking the things off this to-do list, or is it more like, oh, I just kind of think ahead of time and know like when I get home, I gotta attack that thing?
I think it's both, right? Because there's certainly like to-do lists around the house that just like I was mentioning before, when I set up this goal, I set it up because I've been pushing a lot of it to the weekend, and then the weekends get super overwhelming and not restful. So that's a problem for the week as well, right? So it's really like, here's a list of things that need to be done, cross some of them off the list, or sometimes it's just very technical to what has to, like, I need to throw in a load of laundry for the rest of the week. I gotta wash the towels because we're out of clean towels for the bathroom. Like, sometimes it's very logistical, and sometimes it's what can I knock off this week? And there are some house projects that just have been sitting around because neither of us end up having the energy to do them on the weekends. So simple one, even today, even though today's a Sunday, but we get a lot of rain. We're getting a lot of rain. It's been sunny and gorgeous the last couple of days, but the rain's coming back, and it'll probably rain all throughout March. So I finally went and got a grill cover, right? And one of the reasons why I was a little bit late signing on to our recording today was because I was at Home Depot grabbing a grill cover and cleaning off the grill and putting the cover on it. So, you know, it's things like that. It's both. It's checking things off the house list and what do we need. Sometimes it's just making dinner. Sometimes coming home is just like, the thing I'm going to do tonight is make dinner because I offered to make dinner tonight, and that's going to be it. I'm going to eat dinner, and then I'm going to just like decompress is my word. I got to decompress or detox from work a little bit so that I can get some restful sleep. But it's also helped with the reading, right? Like, I'm going to read until I'm so tired that I fall asleep. So it's helping me keep on top of my goals a lot more. I might actually hit my 25 for 25 this year. We'll see.
Yeah.
No kidding.
We'll see.
It was making me think while you were talking, I was kind of looking to see, I remember there was this really fun to-do list app where you started out with an adventurer, right? So imagine just like D&D, like you chose at the beginning of the thing, you're going to be the fighter, the wizard, the whatever. And so you just start off as like this like level 0 dude, and then you make your to-do list. And as you complete your daily thing, so you would have like your thing of days, right? So every day you'd put your thing of the day, and as you collect it, you earn experience points. And when you get experience points, you could go to the shop and you could get new boots, and you could get new armor, and you could get this. And like there, of course, like just like any RPG, it would kind of match them, right? So if you got like the Manticore helmet, there was also the Manticore armor plate and the Manticore sword, that you would try to earn your experience points and go through and like build your character. I thought it was a fun way to do it. The only problem was it was that like very retro, like 8-bit style, like very blocky, kind of old school fight, like Final Fantasy 1 type thing. And so it wasn't that exciting. Like they didn't look that cool. If it looked cool and had better graphics, I would have been more into it. Like I went through it and I maxed out and got whatever, like the unicorn sword or whatever. It wasn't that cool. Like it didn't do anything. It just kind of looked blocky and dumb. I don't know why. Like just popped that back into my head. I'm like, man, I wish somebody would do something cool like that again, so I could have a cool like. You know what I mean? Because imagine you keep doing that one thing a day, you get those XP points, and you have like this. It's basically paper dolls, right? You just have this digital paper doll that gets like.
Ooh, I got it for you, Rob. Okay. You and Andrew used that thing where you could build your own mini, right?
Oh yeah.
Right. So what
Hero
if?
Forge.
Yeah, what if you allowed yourself to add on a piece to that mini by knocking off your own to-do list until you get to the point that you can order that mini being made?
Maybe. I don't know that the motivation is there, because if you open up our login to that site, there are probably 246 minis that have already been designed by Andrew, because he just loves doing it. So like he can knock those out in his sleep. Like he's probably already got the one he'd want to order. All right. I like the idea, though. I do like the idea.
Create a new account just for you. And today, you did this thing on your to-do list. You get to choose the weapon. Today, as this on you get to choose the shield. You get to choose
I
the
could
boots.
see that working. I could see that working. I might go back into the App Store and kind of like take a look and see if there's anybody else who's doing some kind of gamification like that.
There's one called Do It Now. It's an RPG to-do list.
Ooh, let's see.
Do it now.
No, yours. I think you were talking about Habitica.
Yes, you found it.
I found it.
Wow.
Do it now.
Do it now.
Oh wait, now this looks like it's giving me an actual adventure.
Ooh.
Oh,
that's like the Scooby-Doo mile thing, like right? Every mile that I like walk or do on the treadmill, I log into that app, and like Scooby-Doo and the gang are all going across, and after so many miles, I get some clues to try to solve.
I really think I want to try this, because you can link it with your calendar and it sets your goals each day and color codes it. This looks really cool. This one that I'm
the one you're looking
at now.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm looking at it on desktop, so I can see like some of the features bigger.
Boom.
All right, everyone's gonna do it now.
Wow. Episode
69.
Do it now.
Do it now. Got him.
Freaking got him.
Love it.
I forgot.
My favorite part of our episodes, and we're going to go in just typical order. We can abandon the dice for now. We're going to start with Dr. Intern Joan. What's the nerdiest thing you did this week? You rolled the dice anyway, you jerk.
I heard the dice sound. Well, I'm on a quest to make my bedroom a sanctuary, and so I've redone some of my art to be book themed. So I had to go to Office Depot, and I had to have them print out poster sized things because I don't have that capability. And I got some frames, and I hung up 3 new pieces of art that are book themed. One's a late night.
Wait, you want to tell us which books?
Well, no, they're not books necessarily. One's a graphic of like a raffle ticket, like an old timey raffle ticket, but it's for the late night book club. That's what it says in the middle. And then there's a sign that says, "Be kind, read books, stay weird."
Not rewind.
Not rewind. Don't be kind, not rewind. And then there's just a stack of books in the purple, kind of the
so
colors.
It wasn't
of
like book covers. It's like book themed. Got it.
Book themed art. Keeping on the book theme for me on my nerdiest thing. What about you?
Rob had like 5 jokes running through his head. You see how red he is right now?
As soon as you started talking about, as soon as you said bedroom, all the episode jokes started coming through, and I'm like, is there a theme? Do I have to change mine now?
No.
Wow. Have you seen the, I think it's called it's either the anxious library or the anxiety library, that it's the mini library, and they print out the little book covers for you to like get out your anxious. That would make me more anxious, by the way. That would not work for me because I can't I have to be perfect with the labels. It gives you a little miniature bookshelf, and it gives you a bunch of plastic squares that are book shaped, and then it prints out a bunch of book covers that you then cut out these little book covers and you glue them on and you build your little mini library.
Oh,
and then
so
it gives you themes
kind of thing?
Yeah, little mini modeling thing. It would not help any anxiety for me, but I think they're really cool.
But the thing then being is it's like a shadow box, and when you get upset or nervous, you shake it loose and all the books fall off, and then you go back and organize them as like a calming kind of technique. I
was gonna say, because I do modeling to relax. Like that's I'll come home and
that's why I like organizing closets and other things. I like order and I love
so
it.
that anxiety library would be perfect for you when you're feeling anxious, just to shake it up and then reorganize it.
Yep, absolutely. That's why I have a puzzle on my kitchen table right now, so I can go jiggle pieces and whatnot.
Very
All right,
cool.
Nerdiest thing. Somebody else.
Rob, what's the nerdiest thing you did this week?
The nerdiest thing I did was follow Dr. Intern Joan's advice and download the app Storygraph. So, like she said, there's an option to dump all of your Goodreads stuff in there, and I think that's what you had said, Joan. So you used to use Goodreads, but then you can go to your account and get a giant CSV spreadsheet download and just upload it into Storygraph. I decided not to do that because I haven't used Goodreads in probably 10 years, so who cares? I'm just starting fresh, and I am backlogging for a few months to just get in the things that I read and finished in 2025, but I'm gonna build my catalog there, and Joan's in there. You can friend people. I have one friend on Storygraph, and it's Joan, so I can see what is Joan reading. There it is. There's a picture of it right there. She could see what I was reading if she wanted to. She probably has 3,000 friends because she's the world's greatest reader. Either way, I think it's pretty cool. You rate the books, and what's fun about it is when you rate the books, it asks you questions about the books. There's almost a very easy checklist to go down, how many stars, is this character driven or plot driven, is it action, is it adventure, is it mysterious, you just pop, and you can put that really easy rating in. And then of course you could write your book report if you wanted to, but I haven't done that yet because I'm mostly backlogging. So yeah, Storygraph, I've given it a try. I think it's cool. I realized that I read a lot of graphic novels, and I do knock out a ton of those things. If you remember, I used to take a photo of every comic book cover of the comic books I read, but then I found out that there's a limit of 5,000 pictures in an Apple library photo album because I ran out of space, and I was like, okay, well, I'll start a second one, and then I'm like, this is ridiculous. But now I'm gonna throw that stuff up on Storygraph and have a good old time. You can follow me on Ale Gulper on Storygraph.
And what I like about it for you is when you eventually get to either a month checkpoint, all those graphs that are just like BG stats that you're going to be able to see what you're reading, how many pages. That's what Joan has put up on her Instagram, and that's what I brought it up for you. So you're going to be able to get some insights like BG stats does.
You know what? I didn't notice that I could put in the date finished.
It does it automatically for you.
Oh, so if I sit here and I'm dumping in all the ones I did back in January, February all at once, it's going to think I finished that book all in one day?
It should import the stats that you previously had in, but I've had it hasn't been a smoothest transition. So I'm like, wait, I actually read that.
Well, no, I don't have anything in.
Oh, and then it doesn't track it if you just put it in.
You can't go back and edit the date?
You can edit it if you want.
Yeah, I think you go back and edit the dates.
Go back and edit the date so I can get good info on my graphs.
Yeah.
But yeah, Storygraph, checking it out. I do love the board game one with all the insights and graphs and stuff, so very much looking forward to that.
That's what I've been impressed with on Joan's Instagram, because you're not making those on Canva, right, Joan? That's something you screenshot from Storygraph itself. Yeah. Because it has a little logo on it, so thought you would like that.
Analese, what's the nerdiest thing you did this week?
Y'all may not know this. I played basketball in high school. Really loved it. I was told by a couple colleges if I was just like 3 inches taller, they'd be talking to me about scholarships. I wasn't that good, but I was a scrappy player, and that's what coaches like. I coached for over 10 years, have been a really big fan of girls basketball, women's basketball. I have always been frustrated with how little attention is given on a game that is fundamentally stronger than the men's game, especially at the college level where women basketball players are still playing fundamental basketball. And it's really thrilling to watch, even though they're not slam dunking. And it's always been a thing that women's sports don't get as much attention as men's sports. But the last couple of years, I'll say the last 4 or 5 years, there's been a bit of a renaissance with women's basketball, especially at the college level, and especially now with this new generation of women going into the WNBA. I threw out the name Caitlin Clark, and she's a household name and has really been the forefront of this new attention on women's basketball. So much so where I think the finals, one of the games last year for NC2A women's basketball was the most televised sporting event of the year, or something really big like that, like more than the Super Bowl. Like, it was really, really huge. And that continued on when Caitlin Clark left Iowa and is now in the WNBA.
I went to a bar to go see my friend DJ, and those games were finishing up, and like the place was packed.
Yes.
What's going on with women's basketball?
I just saw a thing on Instagram of someone posting that, or like someone had screenshotted a tweet or something that said, one of my elementary boys just yelled out, Caitlin Clark, and made a 3-pointer.
Hey!
And like,
That's awesome.
Right? It's changing. It's changing a lot, and I'm really happy to see that. But the nerdiest thing I did this week is this renaissance in women's basketball is continuing. I am wearing my USC hat today because last night, as of the date of this recording, USC won the Big Ten outright in women's basketball, and the next really big national player is Juju Watkins, who is a phenomenal basketball player, a very humble kid. She decided to stay in LA and go to USC, who's not known for women's basketball. And she was recruited by all the big schools that you would think when you think first for women's basketball. But she wanted to instead lift up her hometown and lift up, her hometown school. And she's really phenomenal. I'd be a fan of her no matter which school she ended up. I'm just glad she plays for USC. Last night they won, and it was just extra sweet because they beat UCLA to win the Big Ten title. UCLA has lost 2 games this season. They're having a really good season, but both of those losses are to Juju Watkins and USC. So it's been really fun to watch this national attention, not only on my school, but also on this particular player. And I'm just really geekily excited. By the time this episode airs, I'm hoping there has been at least a Final Four appearance by USC. If not, maybe a championship, fingers crossed. But when we were growing up, it was all about Cheryl Swoops and Cheryl Miller and these women of the 80s who were winning national championships for Los Angeles. And to see Cheryl Miller at the game last night on television, of course, it's like one of the hardest tickets to get in town right now, so there'd be no chance of me getting a ticket. But to see them all there, and then just this renaissance of women's basketball, I'm nerding out about it. I love it so much. So that was the nerdiest thing I did this week, was nerd out about women's basketball, particularly rooting for Juju Watkins and USC. So that was fun.
I love it.
Right on. Well, that's very cool, and this has been a very cool episode, and it's always a very cool time when Dr. Intern Joan is there. Thank you for joining us.
Just
Dr.
elevating our show.
You're welcome.
Absolutely. Every great hero needs an even greater villain. And next week on Nerd Best Friends, we're counting down our top 5 villains of all time. From mastermind schemers to pure chaos incarnate, we're debating which bad guys truly stand above the rest. Will your favorite make the list, or are we about to start a nerd war? Remember our call to action. Hit that subscribe and follow button on your device and spread the word with those sweet 5-star ratings. Connect with us on social media at NerdBestFriends, or send us an email to podcast@nerdbestfriends.com. Let's grow our nerd family and keep the geeky fun going strong.
Oh my gosh, we're going to have more to say about what we're doing on our bonus episode. So go subscribe, patreon.com/nerdbestfriends. Don't forget, on Blue Sky, we are NBF Podcast. Dr. Intern Joan is here. Follow her on Instagram, what.is.joan.reading, or Storygraph. If you're on Storygraph, try to find her. Is it the same name, Joan?
Without the periods.
Without the periods. All right. And then catch us on the bonus episode next week or in 2 weeks, where we talk about villains.
69!
We will never again have an episode 69. Congratulations, everybody.
You did it.
There'll be a 169, though. That'll be fun. 100 episodes from now.
No, 117 is the next one. Or 88's technically.
I mean, 88's technically the next one. Rob doesn't know about 88.
I know. Probably 117 either. Yeah.
We'll have to decide whether or not we should tell him.
I was so naive. I'm not telling him. Embarrassing.
We have to decide whether or not we let him in
On the secrets.
from the Trojan Marching Band.
Did I tell you I set up my custom text notification is the door knock?
Is it really? How did you do that?
You just tap it out, and so now every time my text goes off, it's da-da-da-da-da-da-da.
Do you answer it, though?
Oh, no, but I should. No, I just like it, because everyone's like, why is it doing that?
Does it sound like a knock?
No, because it's on vibrate.
Oh.
Just
Oh, so it's the vibrate, like goes...
Yeah.
Wow. Good times. That's nerdy. All right, nerds. See ya next week for the subscriber bonus. And we are your nerd best friends. There should have been something here next to your name, Rob.
Oh.
Did it get erased?
I know. I usually say we are your nerd best friends.
I just rewatched Creepshow 2 while I was making dinner on my iPad. No, let me try that again. I just watched Creepshow 2 on my iPad while I was making dinner. And
You've got a problem with your iPad. It's not supposed to get that hot.
you'd be surprised. I made some ramen on the iPad. No. Hey, hold on before you ask. Someone's got some really big background noise.
I was going to ask if you could hear that. It is pouring down rain all of a sudden.
That's rain?
Can you hear that? We're having like a micro burst.
I hear it's
wild. I'm like,
I heard you look up and then nothing happened. I heard you look up and there was nothing, and then all of a sudden, like as I was talking, I heard it start to creep in, which is fine.
We had that last week. It's intense.
Did you?
It doesn't rain like that in Santa Barbara. That's wild.
It's dumb. Oh, it's hail. Oh, there's hail.
Oh, hail! No,
it's hailing.
Do you need to go see the hail real quick?
Yeah, I want to look at
Yeah, go see the hail. That's pretty cool.
Oh my god, every Southern California is like weather,
Exactly.
It's like,
we never see hail. What is this?
weather. Listen, he opened the door. Listen how loud that is. That's wild.
I love that.
That's wild.
Fun times.
That is wild.
Hail at the beach.